my conviction is I remember, meeting Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember being celibate for about 8 months. But it wasn't like...
It's a bad celibacy, yeah.
But it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm just not going to... It was just like, I'm pursuing God so much that I just want to taste Jesus. But I met a woman one night randomly, but like it just wasn't planned, and it was just a one-night stand.
Yeah.
And I was just confused about everyone and what the church was saying about it, because they'll use words like, did you fall down or blah, blah, blah. But I had sex with this woman, and I spoke to God about it the next morning, and then I was just like... Like, I was talking to God and I was asking him.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I can't even remember what I was asking him, because my epiphany was, oh my God, I'm talking to you.
Mm.
I had sex with a woman, but I know you.
Yeah.
And everyone throughout my whole life was like, you can't know Jesus and be gay. You can't be homosexual and be a Christian.
That's not
homosexuality is a sin. And I'm just like,
No,
I'm in a relationship with Jesus. And now today, that was when I was 25. I'm 31 now. I have sex with women, but I'm in relationship with Jesus, so I just don't really understand the point of being celibate.
Well, I think the point of being celibate isn't about being celibate. It's about making room for that deeper, passionate love with God and saying, God, I don't understand your ways. Like, I don't understand. I'm gay. I think men are great. I just want to go, let's do it. I'm not repressed. I don't repress myself. I rechannel that desire towards God, because I'm convicted scripturally that that's not the way, and I think my faithfulness to him. But it is a big ask. But you know what? Discipleship is a freaking big ask.
It sounds to me like you're not, there's two ways to do the Christianity almost. There's moral restraint, which makes Christianity legalistic.
Yeah. I actually don't think that's Christianity. Yeah.
Well, it's religion. And then there's supernaturally changed, which is the Christian.
Well,
God says the renewing of your mind, supernaturally changed heart. Yeah, we can agree on that, right?
We are transformed. We have been given a down payment. There is something that has ontologically actually changed about us, and yet we have not fully experienced that work.
But would you say you're experiencing, because it doesn't sound like you're abstaining from your same-sex attraction. It seems like your desires have changed. Is there some truth to that?
No, I am very attracted to men all the time.
And you want to have sex with them?
I say to God, well done. High five, because I don't think there's anything I can do to change that orientation. God's never changed that. He said, just give it to me and walk with me and lay that down at my feet. And I said, well, God, I read your word, and it's pretty clear that marriage is between a man and woman. So I'm not going to seek a same-sex relationship. But I believe that ultimately sex is a gift that points to something deeper. And our desire for sex is actually often a hankering for completion with God. What we're really searching for often in sex, sometimes it's not, it's just a desire for pleasure and it's hedonism. But I think the deeper, human space, when we're really close to who we ourselves, is that we're looking for something deeper in sex. And you can't really, even you can have great sex and be in really great relationships, but it's never going to give you that deeper intimacy with God that does really fulfill. And so what's happened for me is that God has fulfilled me. Not always. I still have moments where there's big conflict and where I still have desire for men and I wrestle with that. And, I'm a sinner like everybody, not still experience that, incapacity to live out the will of God perfectly. But at the same time, God is so gracious to me in that, and is like, I know, that's why I died. I provided the righteousness that you couldn't give me. And that's why I came, partially, one of the reasons he came. So there's huge grace, I think, for queer people, particularly because straight people don't have to deal with the idea that their desires are misaligned with the created order in the law. We do, and that's freaking hard. And I think God has so much grace for us. I still don't understand why he's allowed it fully. I have some mysterious sense it's because of his glory and that he is sanctifying the church, and he's going to lift up queer people in the church to be actually there's going to be a new wave of revival that's coming from queer people who trust him with something that deep. But it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy.
I'm thinking about the young gay Christians who are, watching this or are searching, and it sounds to me like you're saying if we engage in our same-sex attraction, we're not living in the fullness that God has for us.
No, I'm saying that your same-sex attraction or your desires have a deeper meaning, and to search that out first and then understand your orientation from that place. Does that make sense?
It does.
With the scriptures as the authority, the law still teaches us what sin is. Paul never undermines that the law teaches us what sin is. And I think the Jewish law is very clear, but we're not meant to live under it. We're not meant to live under it as our source of righteousness. Would
you say then, because I'm just trying to think.
It's a thin line, but that's true Christianity.
There's so much emphasis on our sexuality, though. I know you said we're all sinners saved by grace, but unfortunately in our culture it's just not seen like that. We're not seen as the same as everyone else. We're seen as worse. No. We're saying, well, you're gay, you're sort of lost. I'm just like, man, you should just see my heart. Like, you should look at all the change.
I think we're freaking amazing.
Yeah, like all the change in the heart, and then you've got these...
Even with queer people who disagree with me on sexual ethics and what I've said, I just because it's what we live is hard. And I've tried to explain it to straight people 1,000,000 times, and it's like, nah. And when I speak to my friends who are like black or have, engaging in the racism issue, they have a lot of the same struggles. It's not the same. I don't think you can overlap sexuality and race in the same way, but it is very hard to explain to someone who doesn't know what it's like. So when I'm with a queer person, there is this kind of sacred solidarity. And I want to be able to have that with queer people without always having to agree on the same ethic.